premiere show with Takesha Positive Girl Gets Fit. I apologize for the delay in the broadcast. I actually had to work and ran in and just kind of jumped on here, so we're going to get right into it. I want to welcome all you guys to our first show, and I am excited that we've actually had time to launch. And please welcome the beautiful Takesha Anderson, Positive Girl Gets Fit. And so just to kind of, start off with how you're doing lately, and find out how you're feeling and how's your workout regimen going, and you can introduce yourself to those of you, to those people that have not seen your channel or know your story.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on the show. I am Takesha, Positive Girl Gets Fit, otherwise known as Nikki. I have had surgery. I had bariatric gastric bypass surgery December 19th, 2012. So for those of you that have never met me or have never looked at my channel, I do have a channel on YT, and it's called Positive Girl Gets Fit. Recently, I had an incident with a car to where I was running and the car hit me, and last week was kind of horrible as far as just emotionally, I was all over the place, but I'm in better, I'm doing better this week, and I'm back in the gym doing very light work, but yeah. That's where I am doing a lot better.
Yay! I'm happy to hear that. Quite a few of us were concerned about you, and
yeah.
In other words, what I do want to do is highlight the effect that a lot of people were doing workouts in your spirit.
Yes.
Everyone kind of, focusing on working out and keeping that energy strong with you. So I'm really excited to see that. So why don't you tell some of us like how you came about choosing surgery, what put you in that place, for those, who don't know your whole story, because we're a little bit further out, you and I. So
yes.
Recap and kind of let them know what brought you to that decision, and, how you transitioned into making the decision for the type of surgery that you did have.
Okay. So in May of 2012, I met with my PCP, and at that point, I was kind of fed up. If we can trace like 2 years prior to that, I want to say 2009, I was on a medication called phentermine, and I know a lot of surgery folks have had that, have taken that medication. Some are still taking it. But anyway, that was my last ditch resort. I was on everything from, what is that? The weight loss, the big thing that, Jennifer Hudson did it. Gosh, I can't even think of the name.
She was Jenny Craig, I think, right? She was supposed.
No, it wasn't Jenny Craig. It's Weight Watchers. I'm sorry, my head has just gone blank. So I did Weight Watchers for a long time. I did the Atkins diet. I did starving myself. I did the cabbage diet. I did all these crazy diets I was a fat, always a fat kid, fat girl, fat everything, fat adult. So the phentermine was my last ditch resort. And so I was on that longer than I should have been, off and on for about 2 to 2.5 years, which you're not supposed to be, but that's what I was. And so the lowest weight that I had seen was 164, and immediately, like the next day, I went back up into the 170s, and then from there I just climbed. The medicine just stopped working. I just pretty much became immune to it, and I tried everything to try to get back to, losing weight, and it just didn't happen. So anyway, fast forward to May 2012, I met with my PCP, and we kind of discussed some things, but as I first walked in, I was like, I want to have the surgery. I don't care what surgery it is. I just want to have the surgery. So Yes. So at that time, I was like, I want to do lap band because it's less evasive, and I knew not a whole lot would get rerouted, and it wasn't like crazy because I was very against having surgery off top. But my mom was like, she had the surgery. She had Roux-en-Y gastric bypass surgery. And yeah, and so for a long time, she was like, I think you really need to have the surgery because she saw, I was trying everything to lose weight. And anyway, it took me a while to really come to the decision to have gastric bypass surgery, but I think I made the final decision around October after I went to a seminar and spoke with who is now my surgeon, spoke with the surgeon there, and he was really, really positive about the surgery. His success rate was great. The mortality rate was great. And so I was just like, okay, I'm going to go for it. If I'm going to go, I'm going to go hard. So so I decided to have RNY around October of 2012.
That's exciting. I remember when I was like kind of trying to debate about it, and there was so much sort of kind of teeter, like, oh, it's good, but oh, it's bad. You know what I mean? You never know. Like, you're trying to decide. You're like, should I do it? It's so scary. I've heard so many people talk about even Roux-en-Y, like, oh no, I won't ever do the Roux-en-Y because the Roux-en-Y because all the changes in our anatomy. So it's kind of hard.
Rerouting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell us, like, how when you were progressing through your journey, like, what made you or encouraged you or kind of got the energy to focus on fitness? Like, at what point did you feel like, what, I'm going to transition, I'm going to reinvent, kind of approaching that, okay, I'm getting ready to go,
Yeah.
What's next?
I've always really been in kind of in this mode of fitness. It's just that I never was really able to because of my weight. And my highest weight recorded, I'm sure it was much higher, was 256 pounds. Now you're talking about someone that's 4'11". That's a BMI, right? That's like almost dwarf. You're talking about a BMI of 51. So I really wasn't able to do the things that I always dreamed about doing. And so as I progressed into weight loss and really gathering what it was that I really wanted to do as far as fitness, I kind of transitioned and was like, what, I'm just going to go all in. I'm just going to make this thing work. So I started walking when I first got out of surgery. I started walking, and then from there progressed to kind of jogging. And then I was like, okay, well, what else is out there? So I'm going to start lifting weights, and then I'm going to start, doing some aerobic activity. And so I've kind of messed with a few things as far as fitness goes. I really loved CrossFit, and so I tried out CrossFit, and I really loved step aerobics, and so you see some crazy videos of mine on my channel where I'm doing step aerobics.
Yeah.
So I love all of it. Right now, I'm really focusing on getting back to weightlifting and really trying to strengthen, my leg and my ankle and my upper body, which is really what I've been focusing on the most right now, just because of my injuries. But I just decided that, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to make this a lifestyle, I really have to go all in on the fitness. And so I actually enjoy it. It's something that I do every day. It's the transition was easy. Once I decided, the transition was easy.
Yeah, I just kind of touching base a little on that is that, when you're not into fitness, I think, trying to convince yourself that I feel like when you're entering your phase of like how you're going to change with the surgery, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to eat better, and I'm going to exercise. Yeah. This is going to motivate me, and I'm going to do all these things.
All lies.
Exactly. And then you kind of see tips, now, now that are more like sort of close to a year out, they'll say, if I could go back, right?
Yeah.
I definitely plant, more fitness into my regimen to kind of embed that, into me. And so I feel like it's really important to address like how you found, your niche with fitness.
Yeah.
It really does. It's really a hard place to find, but I feel like some people, like you were talking about, that experiment with different types, of fitness, just CrossFit, some people do kickboxing, and they
you really gotta get yourself involved in all things. Just because I'm doing one thing over here doesn't mean that you have to be excited about it and do it too. So I kind of, with me, I kind of try to get myself out and do all things, because you can become complacent. You can become, very bored at the things that you're doing. So, running works for me. So at the end of this, before I got hurt, running was my thing. That's what I was doing, because that is my body just, I don't know, it just loves it. And so my weight loss the weight just comes off when I run. And I think that's the story for a lot of people when they're choosing certain exercises, like what works for me, what benefits me most. And for me, the running is what benefits me most. I notice that I have better stamina. I can, as far as just with everything, I have more energy.
Endurance too. You find out how much endurance you have.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I dreamt about running, 2 miles or 1 mile, without stopping. And now I'm running like 3 and 4 miles. So, I mean, it's all progression, but you have to like what you do. And I feel like if you're trying to force yourself into an exercise, whatever that is, and you don't like it, you're not going to stick with it. So that's the thing. Just try all things. Try, to get involved in everything that you can. Zumba or, plyo. Just try everything and see what works for you. See how your body, adapts to the workouts that you're doing. And if it's good stuff, then keep at it and kind of, progress from there.
Yeah, I believe that as well. I know a lot of people also have been following you on Instagram, and let me just take a moment to share with some people that let me just apologize that we were running a little bit behind. Sorry, because I work until 5 o'clock and I got stuck in traffic and I had all these plans of this big extravaganza and I'm totally disorganized.
Well, this is the first show, so it's all good.
I know, exactly. Oh my God. So I just want to kind of share with some of the viewers that are tuning in, that have been waiting, and I've been, letting people know that we were going to air tonight, that I'm using 2 applications in this Google Hangout, which is a Q&A application and a showcase application, and that is something that when you're watching us now, there should be a banner that comes up that says join the conversation. I know a lot of these videos, a lot of these hangouts on air are not allowing people to comment. And I do believe that part of that is because they've incorporated this, application for people to engage in the conversation. So just so you guys know, you can click on that, and in the top right-hand corner of your screen, there will be a little Rubik's Cube sort of icon, and you can actually click on that, and you can ask TheCuryJones questions live as we're here, and you can also Instagram, and you can follow her there. So just kind of wanted to take a moment for that. So back to moving into your fitness phase. How much do you think eating different types of food has really also like gotten you into a more energetic or maybe more attitude?
Well, first and
kind of it all piecing together.
That's a great question. First and foremost, so I transitioned from eating meat to now I'm a vegetarian. My boyfriend and I decided to become vegetarians last February, and that has really been going great. As far as the eating, it really is 80 to 90% in some cases part of your weight loss and part of your body, transformation. So if you're, working out crazy in the gym, that's great, that's wonderful. But if your diet is poor, that's also going to show on you, and that's going to also affect your progress as far as, what it is you're wanting to do with your body. So for me, I find that not eating meat has really energized me. I do not feel, how when you eat meat, you get like that heavy feeling.
Yeah.
I don't get that anymore. And not to say that, that could be a great thing for some. I know, the protein content is wonderful coming from meat, but there's so many other ways that you can get protein in without having to eat meat. And just with the scares, the E. coli, at Chipotle now, and, the USDA is calling 150,000 pounds of beef, those are the things that I like, okay, this is the reason why I don't eat meat.
Yeah.
But to each their own. I don't discriminate. But that, for me, that is what's helped me to kind of stay fit, is, becoming a vegetarian. Now, you can go to the left, and, with being a vegetarian, you can incorporate a lot of carbs, which people say, well, how else am I going to be able to get full? Because, I don't feel full off of, tofu and things of that nature. So, I got to eat bread, because what else is out there? But there's lettuce wraps. You can do quinoa. You can do brown rice. I still eat eggs, milk, and cheese. So I'm what you call a lacto-ovo vegetarian. So I do 2 eggs in the morning before I head out for work. I normally do a yogurt for my morning snack. For lunch, I normally do like a Boca burger or corn, QUORN. They have wonderful products that are meat substitutes. So I'll do like a Boca burger and a slice of cheese and maybe some coleslaw or a salad or something like that. And it keeps me full. That along with drinking, a ton of water. And then for dinner, it's something along the lines of lunch. So for me, it's just the energy is there. I don't feel heavy. I don't feel like just terribly full when I eat. It's just all about your what it is that you choose to do. What's your preference. Not everybody is going to, do the same thing. What's working for me may not work for you. So
I think a lot of the questions, and I just so you guys know, whoever's watching, I will get to your questions the last 20 minutes of the show, but I kind of wanted to pick her little brain for a minute. But I know a lot of people were asking similar question as to when you transition into being like a vegetarian or a vegan, or that make those sort of I don't know, I guess maybe they could be considered extreme, But I think a lot of people are under the impression that if you don't eat meat, right, get your protein in, and there really is supplemental ways, I believe, that you can get, your protein in, but as a vegetarian, have you also cut out dairy products and things like that, because you had issues with that, or?
I have not cut out the dairy products, and that's why we decided to become lacto-ovo, because I still need my cheese, and because cheese. But no, that is the reason why we stayed with the cheese and the dairy. I do not drink cow's milk. If I do, it is very, very rare. That's one of the things that we kind of shy away from. We'll either do like coconut milk or we'll do almond milk. We're kind of venturing into maybe trying cashew milk, but it just has less calories, it has less carbs, it has less everything. So that's a good substitute for milk if you're thinking about, getting away from cow's milk. But yes, there are definitely ways that you can go about getting in your protein and not eating meat. That was one of the things when we first transitioned into becoming vegetarian. It was like, well, how are you going to get your protein in? Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
how are you going to get all the nutrients? And, you know, you can still get your nutrients in. There are people still alive that are vegetarians. So they're still walking around on this earth. So it's not a necessity to have meat all the time. You can, you know, if you're wanting to go the vegetarian route, you can say, okay, well, we're going to have meatless Mondays, or we're going to just do, you know, 2 meals this week is going to involve meat. You can, you know, progress in that way if you're thinking about doing it, but it's not the end all be all. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to, you're not going to lack nutrients. I still drink protein shakes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
actually, right, I saw that. You recently made
yeah.
a video in your car talking about going back to a little bit of a stationary basic, you know, having something as simple as a protein shake in the morning on your way to work or what have you.
Yeah. It works. It works.
You know what, I actually really was thinking, when you were talking about that in the car, I was thinking, you know, last summer before I started having some side effects, I was like, what can I do, right? And so I'm really kind of a person that doesn't overwhelm myself when I try to change something, you know what I mean? Because I'm a very simple person that's very routine. And so I figured if I do something really simple, one thing, you know, 1 week, you know what I'm saying, taking in and removing things and so on. And I think that people don't realize, even my mom, and she's not a surgery patient, but she was saying, gosh, I gained so much weight, you know, and I said, you know, you should do something as simple as just having 1 shake, because she loves protein shakes. And I told her just 1 shake, you know, just 1 shake. And she just recently bought a stationary bike. She's so funny. And you know, she's been using that, you know, for 40 minutes every day, actually. So I think it's the small things, you know, that people forget. Oh, well, if I just do that little bit, you know, that it makes a difference, and it actually really does. So I have other questions just related to your journey in itself. Before I enter into that, how about when you were transitioning into the strong fitness and the new way of eating, did you research, or were you strongly into researching nutrition? You know what I mean? Just in itself, you know, like changing your eating and wondering how those foods affect your body and so on in terms of what you were choosing to eat, transitioning to that lifestyle? Or did you just kind of say, okay, we're going to do this, you know, and we're just going to play with what we like and see what works for us?
Yeah, definitely playing around with food is because I was just like, I'm going to just go with it. Because Jamie was the one, my boyfriend, he was like, why don't we just do the vegetarian thing? And I'm like, okay, let's try it. So so we totally winged it. We played around with different things. We had a lot of carbs in the in the diet when we first started, because again, we didn't know what we were doing. So a lot of pasta and a lot of rice and baked potatoes and just everything that was like non-meat. We were just like, okay, this will work. And after realizing that that's not how you lose weight, we decided to, okay, we got to really incorporate the protein back into the diet. So we, you know, looked at the Boca burgers. We looked at the Morningstar products. We looked at the corn products. We looked at, you know, tempeh and Seton. We found wonderful, wonderful vegetarian restaurants in the East Nashville area. East Nashville is just absolutely great when it comes to various food items. And they are the best place in this surrounding area that can provide you with vegetarian options. So so we normally go out there to East Nashville to eat at this place called the Wild Cow, which is awesome. But there's other places that you can venture to that are vegan. We just recently tried out this spot called Avo, and it's raw food, but you would never know it. It is wonderful, wonderful stuff. So with that, with becoming vegetarian, it also taught us how to be creative in the kitchen and how to kind of think outside the box. Because I was, you know, just very standard meat and potatoes type of girl. But once we became vegetarian, it was like the world just opened up to just, being creative with our food and, just trying different things.
Yeah. And when you were starting your journey and going through it, what encouragement or what tips can you suggest for those that have trouble with movement, in the beginning, or at a size that they are kind of afraid or maybe feel a little intimidated with some of the classes or some of the to purchase and stuff? Because I know when I was on the Pretty Losers, Trisha was saying, it's so hard to find something, on YouTube or somewhere to just begin. I need to feel the motivation, to feel like I can keep up, as opposed to some of these crazy, like, programs they have out there. So what can you suggest to those starting out?
And that's great, because really when you look on YouTube and I, just because of my injuries, I've looked on YouTube to try to find adaptive exercises or exercises that were pretty much low speed, that you really didn't need your lower body to do, which for us being morbid obese, we do have issues of mobility, being able to, just get up and walk around. So, what's out there on YouTube or just in general that will help you. And for me, I think the first thing that you've got to do is decide that you want to do it. You want to try whatever it is, because, conquering the mind is like 90% of the battle. So once you decide that, okay, this is the game plan, I'm just going to walk. I'm going to walk from here to the back of the house. I'm going to walk from here to the mailbox. Okay, and then I'm going to walk from here to down the street. And then just keep going. You just have to have that motivation within you to say, okay, I'm just going to try. I'm just going to try to do something. If you can find you 5-pound weights, there's always something at the Goodwill. I'm a thrifter, so there's always something at the Goodwill that you can find. Nothing expensive. Milk jugs. You can find water jugs and just start lifting. You can, buy, like your mom did, stationary bikes and just pedal. But it is difficult to be out there in the gym and you see all these like 19-pound people walking around, or these meatheads walking around, and you're just extremely intimidated and you don't know, how do I get started? Who do I even ask? So the gym can be a bit intimidating, especially if that's not your thing, and especially if you're just starting out. So I say go outside. Just try walking around the house, going up and down the stairs, just little things to get you going.
Yeah. I agree with that. I know I've always struggled, I mean, I was in a relationship with someone for a very long time that lifted weights, that had been doing it since 15, and he was an inspiration just to see his lifestyle, and you know what I mean, just to be with someone very dedicated to fitness, because one thing I learned about fitness is it's either in your blood, sort of, or you have to build it into
force it.
So, I remember like being so motivated to walk, not only after surgery, because they tell you, you got to get up right after it happens, and you start moving. And I remember them saying something in the hospital like, there she goes again, you know what I mean? And I was and then I got home, and I started walking. My mom, I stayed at my mom's for a couple weeks after my surgery so I could have somebody to help me, and she lives behind a park, and so I started walking the small pathways, in the park. But I will say, that I also am a fever person. Like I get super excited, and motivated about something, and then all of a sudden it fizzles out, and I just that niche, you know what I mean? So to other people that have a struggle with fitness and just the kind of the will, if you will, you know what I mean? The will to actually get up and make yourself, like today I'm going to do it. Even I'm going to do it. And I think that's the hardest part. But I do believe that when some people do really make that conscious decision, that it becomes like brushing your teeth, they say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I saw a post, shortly after the accident, and you were like, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like, this is,
Yeah.
this defines me. So how am I going to, and I mean, I knew just watching, you know, the posts, so happy that you were okay, but also that
Yeah.
you, that I think your will would just help you find, you know, and continue to keep
Yeah.
energy. So another thing I'd like to have you kind of express in your journey is being so far out and dealing with something sort of so unexpected, you know, or something
Yeah.
traumatic. How have you been dealing with old habits, emotions,
Mhm.
goes into your, you know, your, how
Yeah.
everything has affected you and not really wanting to fall off the wagon, you know what I mean? Like, or
Yeah.
either be
Yeah.
down with depression or just stop yourself from those, you know, small habits you know can creep in
Yeah.
and, you know, maybe take over.
Yeah. That's yeah, because last week was absolutely horrible. Just with this whole injury, this whole incident is really more, for me, it was more mental than it was physical. I just, again, I do this every day. I work out every day. I think of things to do during my lunch hour, or during the weekend I mean, it's what I am, is who I am, who I've become. So when that gets, taken away from you, it's like, okay, how do I make this work again? It's like this whole lifestyle, like, how do I get it going? It was hard. It was hard because I didn't know just how to get my bearings and how to get back to me. So there was a few sad days last week that I just had to cry it out. I cried sometimes all day, but this past weekend, especially going to see the orthopedic doctor Friday, I was like, okay, there is hope, and it's not really that bad. But you do, I was eating my emotions. I was eating things that I normally would not have eaten, especially with the fact that I had just lost like 10 or so
Yeah,
pounds. And
I saw
yeah,
that.
and so I was on that path. I was steadily losing. I got as low as 132, and I was just like, I was in it. I was in it.
Yeah.
And then that happened, and I'm sitting today at 138, and it's just like, what? But
Yeah.
I was eating things that I was not eating before, to
Yeah.
lose that weight. And I was just like, no. Over the weekend, I just had a come to me moment, or come
Yeah.
to Jesus moment rather. And I was just like, no, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna let this, take me over.
Right.
So I became angry. I became angry at the fact that I would allow something like this to, definitely get me off track. And so I was like, I'm packing my bag. And Sunday, that's what I did. I'm going to the gym. I don't care what happens. I'm just
Right.
going to try something.
Right.
And every day this week, so far, I've been doing very light cardio and just really working with upper body. And just being back in the gym, for me, it's just therapeutic.
Yeah.
Because especially if this is what you do every day, getting back to something that is
Absolutely.
normal, yeah, is going to make things mentally a whole lot better for you. And so it's been good to just be back in the gym, even if I'm not doing what I used to do. As long as I'm doing something, it's great.
Yeah, and I think maybe too. I mean, I could only imagine in that process, but I think that also it kind of lets you kind of see another side of like maybe what athletes go through. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
people that actually like are just so like embraced, or I mean, just sort of consumed. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's who
yeah,
you are, and we all know that from seeing your Instagram. And
yeah,
so, I'm just so happy to see you find that energy back, because
yeah,
I think, I feel like through your journey that you have to allow yourself those sad days. Even people that have
yeah,
had tragedies and things like that, you have to allow yourself, days where you have to find that energy that keeps you alive. You know, that lights the fire. And like you said, you know, I think you can only be blue for so long until the fire that, you know, that finds you says, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know?
Like, no girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Better get it together. Yeah.
You know, just like to, you know, finding the motivation soon after, because I know some people go through a down period, you know, that kind of takes them away for a little while, and they lose sight of, you know, just getting quiet, you know, the experience itself. So, so let me just mention to people, I know it's here in California, it's 4 minutes to 7, and I know we said we'd be an hour, so I'm going to steal Takesha for probably about 15 or 20 more minutes if everybody doesn't mind, because I feel bad, I'm late, and I want to make sure that I'm fair to everybody and address some of the questions, and also kind of address a couple more things I feel that probably could be talked about and shared. So I'm going to give you sort of a subgroup thing that you can cover. Is how did your journey affect your relationship? Because I know there's a lot of conversation about, you know, the transition changing people, and I know I've even seen a few things on Facebook talking about, and you know, it's really hard. I feel like sometimes when you sometimes when you make your surgery accounts, you know what I mean, and you're so public that you're allowed to vent those things that you normally wouldn't say to people you know, or you know. And you kind of express your true feelings in an environment that you feel is safe, you know, and it doesn't always get the public to react the way you would like, but it helps just sort of to share those feelings. So one is, what was your experience with just your whole relationship in terms from start to finish? Also, was your partner supportive? And how did this affect your family and your children in your process of, you know, making the decision, getting through the decision, and even kind of, you know, adapting and establishing a relationship with this new life and incorporating the family into that?
Well, I think how I was lucky because I did this without being in a relationship. When I met Jamie, it was like almost a year in. Almost a year in of this transition. So I had time to kind of do the stupid stuff at the beginning. I being on phentermine and, you know, doing all these other weight loss things, I knew what it was like to be smaller. So as far as gaining any addictions, like shopping addictions, which I did when I was on phentermine, I didn't do this time around because it was like I knew the ropes, you know, and I knew what life was like smaller. So I know sometimes people have those issues. You know, they develop other addictions, or they decide that I don't really like this person that I'm with. So, or I have other goals that this person doesn't have, or this person isn't progressing with me. So, there's been a lot of relationships that have gone by the wayside because either the person wasn't ready, the other person wasn't ready to deal with the transition of this, you know, who this person, because you change, right? You become a totally different person. Those, you know, the way that people talk to you when you were bigger, the way that people dealt with you and you dealt with other people, that's not the same anymore, because once you start shedding your weight, you also start shedding, you know, how you feel about other people's, and you start, you know, being truthful and be like, I don't need this and I don't have to take it. So for me, it was good that I was not in a relationship when I had the surgery, because I was able, again, to just go through the motions and go through, you know, the ups and downs and, you know, the feelings that, you know, I'm sure most people have when they are losing weight and, you know, kind of getting a more better definition as to who they are. So that was a great thing. When I did meet Jamie, he was actually already watching my videos. So he already knew about the surgery. He already knew about, you know, my ups and downs. And so, you know, that was something that kind of connected us. The first time that we met was at my support group meeting in Nashville. So, so it was, I don't know, it was, I will have to say that I'm very blessed because he accepts all of it, and all my ups and downs, all my quirks, everything. He accepts it. And I think that's the important thing, is that you need to find someone that accepts you no matter what, no matter, you having surgery or you gaining weight because, whatever happens, you fall off track. I mean, he gets all of that. He's understanding of all that. So that's been very helpful. And also being a team, like if we're doing something, we're doing it together. So if we're going vegetarian, we're going vegetarian together. So that not being in a relationship was helpful for me. And then when I met him, I felt like I was ready. I was ready to be the person that I knew I always was. And he accepted that, which was awesome. And so how have my kids dealt with it? I want to say that my kids, they give me high fives when they see, stuff that I've done on on Instagram. My second oldest son has shown pictures of me to his friends, and like I did hit the Quan. I did a video of that, and his friend was like, "Your mom killed it," and I was like, "That's what's up. That's what's up." So it's been good to see that they are, congratulatory, and that they are supportive of, the things that I do outside of, the house. And I'm the same person. I'm probably a little bit more goofier at home than I am anywhere else, but they get it, and I think they're proud of me. My oldest son, I know, my oldest son, I think he was, and rightfully so, I guess to some extent, but he was a little embarrassed when I was bigger, and I would come up to the school, and but he's very, very supportive. They all are, so it's been good.
And what would you say, to those that are struggling with, negativity, family, friends, fear, which obviously motivates a lot of negativity.
Yeah.
What would you also suggest to those in a relationship that may help, ease?
Counseling. Counseling. Look, this is only physical stuff, right? So this is a tool. This tool helps you to lose weight, but you are underneath all that fat, you're like this person that is wanting to be alive and wanting to, show your true colors. And if you're dealing with someone that when you were in your past and bigger, you dealt with a lot of things that person threw at you, and it's now not things that you're going to be able to tolerate. I say counseling. I say, if this is something that you two are really wanting to work on, you really want to stay with this person, definitely get some help. Even if you're not in a relationship, still get some help, because we got stuff. We got things with us.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that sometimes in the transition they get caught up in that your body moves faster than your mind.
Yeah.
And sometimes, they don't really feel the effect of the emotional change until midway, maybe sometimes a year, maybe sometimes 2 years,
Yeah.
Every person is different. Every case is different, so it just kind of happens to people some people it happens right after, you know what I mean? The day you get like, what did I do to myself? Oh no, did I make the right decision? So,
right.
So I truly believe that, you have to, if you can't balance the emotional and physical change, I believe that just make a mental note as well, that maybe through the progress that you make, to make a goal for yourself, to make the progress of finding the core of how you got there. You know what I mean? Like the core of how you had to change your life.
Exactly, because we just didn't decide that, we like food. I mean, there's stuff from my past when I was younger that still affects me now, and I dealt with that by just eating. So what's on the outside, the exterior, is just the symptoms of what really is at hand. And that's where I'm speaking of as far as the counseling, because, you know, we have things that will never be resolved to some extent, and things that we can resolve through therapy, through talking it out.
I'm a strong believer in counseling, just because I feel like sometimes you need an outsider, you know what I mean, to help organize and balance your thoughts. Because I feel like sometimes when you confide in people, I know they might be either too close to you, or they might be so willing to help that they're not open, you know.
Yes, people.
Find a way, of, you know, some more healthy thinking. So having said that, last thing before I've got some couple of questions. I just want to give a quick shout out. Mama Rose has instant messaged me and let me know exactly wanted you to hear. And she wanted me to just let you know that she's in your thoughts, and she's so very.
Oh, thank you.
Very well. So, Mama, we love you back. We hope to WLSFA, and I'll get to that soon.
Yes.
So my last question before I address, so we've got some questions from Jody Joe 10, who will be joining our cast, and we've got a question coming from YouTube here in a second, and then we have a couple of questions from Shannon VSG, my girl, and also Ronan Thomas, which is a new local Sacramentian or Californian that doesn't live far from you, that has a series of questions for you that's just starting out. So
okay, cool.
Before we address those really quickly, I just wanted to ask you my final my final question and biggest question is, how has social media changed your life in a fantastic way, right?
Right.
And in a way from when you started where you had to step back a second, just to figure out, is social media helping me or hindering?
Yeah.
So after that, then we'll address the questions from the viewers.
All right, really quick. So it's been wonderful. When I first was researching, the first thing I did was go to YouTube, and I was just enamored with the amount of people that were actually having this type of surgery, and that were having surgery just in general. It was just fantastic. It was wonderful. I got so much information. The amount of people that you connect with. I mean, Aisha, Girl and Been Gone. Oh my God, can we talk about it? All these people, Mama Rose, like
your shout outs.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like there are so many pivotal people that I wouldn't be where I am right now. I wouldn't know the amount of things that I know right now if it was not for these people that are out here. Sasha, Miss Ting Ting. I mean, if we could just for a few seconds, just throw people out there, because they have been so helpful to me. And I think for me, that's what I wanted to do. As soon as I started gaining, a little bit of encouragement and also a little bit of courage, I was like, I'm gonna start making videos too. And it's just been a roller coaster, and ups and downs, and having to take a break, but coming back, feeling refreshed and like, man, I really want to give back to this community, because this community has definitely given me so much in the form of information. Just, it's been wonderful. And that's with Instagram, that's with, Facebook, that's with here on YT. It's just been a wonderful source of just encouragement and support.
Yeah, and you know what I think about social media as well is one thing I learned when I made this channel, when I made my new channel, is that there is such a land and a world of versatility out there, which I really enjoy. In the beginning when I learned about Instagram, because I don't Twitter. I don't know if you have a Twitter account, but I don't Twitter. Yeah. I really realized there's such a large community as well on Instagram that's so crazy. I mean, really, that's a great place to find vibe.
Yeah. Yes.
It's instant, but it's supportive and encouraging as well. And then you have, the affection and the closeness you build with people on Facebook, and then you have, your space with your YouTube channel where you can actually let people really get to know who you are, how you are, what you have to give, and what you're willing to, welcome into your life. So I really think social media, I can't say enough good things, but I do know as well on the flip side of that some people do, have to conquer mountains incorporating social media into their life, because there are so many people that don't understand this life. Yeah. I really am envious that your family, and your other half is so, you know, 'cause I mean, I just really think, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because people sometimes, you know, when you have spouses that may not understand, you know, this lifestyle, they may not understand what you're going through. I mean, before this show started, I was like, "Hey, babe, you know, I'm getting ready to do the show," and he was like, "Okay, well, I'll let you go and, you know, let you do your thing." So, you know, just very, very supportive.
Does he have a brother? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so we have a couple of questions that have been surfacing throughout Facebook and YouTube, and also I didn't get any from Instagram, but let's start with Jody Joe actually tuned into the Q&A application, which is really awesome. Again, if you guys haven't joined the conversation or when we air, please join the conversation because we get your questions real time, which is awesome because then we don't miss you. But we will start with Jody Joe. She actually tuned in and asked, who are some of your inspirations? I'm just going to kind of run down so you can do a little, you know, sort of, I don't know, whole answer as a whole. So,
Yeah.
so who are your inspirations? Who do you think gave you some of the most motivation through your journey from your pre-surgery to now? And also, what is one of your go-to exercises for core? She has back problems and has very difficult, you know, she has difficulty walking, and I know she's expressed that as well in her videos as well. And then she says, in losing weight, my skin is getting looser, and it's a problem with my degenerative disc disease to get my core area. Any suggestions?
Yeah. Okay, so the people that I named off earlier is who are, so Miss Sasha LaRue, Aisha Grill and Begone, even Northern Southerner. He was from the jump. That was my dude. And there's not a lot of guys, or at that time there were not a lot of guys that, you know, were, you know, on YT talking about surgery. So so he was a great person. Mama Rose was an awesome person when it came to giving you how, you know, telling it like it was and giving you the info and just coming straight. She was awesome and still is. That's what I love about this community, is that even though there's people that falter and that, you know, go on and live life, you know, there's still other ways that we can connect with them, whether that be on FB or Instagram. You know, there's it's just love, you know what I'm saying? It's just support. And that, it means so much when you don't have support at home and when you don't have support at work and when you don't have support with family. This is everything. You know what I'm saying? This is everything. So as far as her other question dealing with core and loose skin, I will say that you don't have to do traditional crunches. You can do body twists. You can do, you know, go and just, I'll have to do a video about that. So tell.
Fitness coach, remember? So
Yeah. So
tell them what you have in store.
Yes. I will be bringing you things that you can do. In January, we will be launching just fitness tips and tricks and just things that people can do that are just starting out. So Jody Joe, I will give you more information. So I will actually message you on Facebook regarding your core. As far as loose skin, weights. I'm afraid to say weights will help with the loose skin.
Okay, so and Shannon says can't wait. She was super excited, but she had to work tonight, so she couldn't watch. But she wants to know, what was the breaking point where you decided to have weight loss surgery, and who did you look up to, who inspired you in your journey, which you've actually shared that.
Yeah.
And actually, this is a really cool closing to her question, because I didn't even think of asking you, but what was your most amazing and favorite NSV? So you can start on what your breaking point was, and then wrap that up with something fabulous that your best NSV that ever happened.
I will have to say my breaking point was when it was summer of 2012, and May, that whole time frame, it was getting warmer. I live in Tennessee, so it's like hot in like March. So my breaking point was having nothing to wear. And also, every time that I wore a skirt, my legs, excruciating pain when they rubbed together, and just I had dreams at night, nightmares even, but dreams of waking up thin and then realizing I wasn't. And I'm not going to get emotional, but I'm just saying it was a thing. And when you have those moments where you just feel absolutely miserable and where you feel like it's either life or death, it was life or death for me. And just being in a depressive state, you know, I mean, it was just horrible. So that was my breaking point. As far as, what was the other question?
Your most favorite and fabulous.
My most favorite and fabulous NSB was being able to walk into a regular size store and try on clothes, and they actually fit. I mean, I still have NSVs regarding that. So clothes, being able to wear whatever I want to wear is a most wonderful thing. So, and that's kind of shallow, but that's what's working for me right now. So.
And you guys, we will bring Takesha back on as well. I mean, just to let you guys know, she will be popping in from time to time. So don't think this is your only chance to ask her questions, because I still haven't finished with her little brain yet. But okay, so Rowan, and I apologize. Her name is spelled R as in Richard, OHONN Thomas. She asked me a few questions to ask you on YouTube. Excuse me, on Facebook. She's just starting out. She's brand new. So there's a few. So I'll let you. I'll address one at a time. We're just going to take the time because it's our premiere and I can do anything I want. So when did you decide to tell your friends and family about your decision to have weight loss surgery, and what were their reactions? That's actually really great. That's
I guess my friends and family, a lot of my friends are, you know, work folks, and so it was like death. You know, it was like you get on that table, you're gonna die. So so that was a lot of, you know, just not knowing, not being educated on the procedure, and, you know, just hearing about, you know, those isolated incidents of people, you know, dying or whatever, kind of, you know, messed with them and was like, okay, well, this is going to happen to you. So it was more getting my friends to kind of be on board than it was my family, because my mom was like, you should have had this like years ago. I told you. My family has been really supportive. Even my external family, they've been really supportive. You will find, as you are losing weight, though, that people become jealous and people become outside of character. And that's just because you're doing well. So keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing it right. And do not be fearful that you're going to lose relationships, because those relationships weren't strong to begin with. If it's over you losing weight, they weren't strong to begin with.
Yeah. So you touched a little bit on this, but I'll go ahead and just reiterate it because she did ask. Have you received the support from non-weight loss surgery people, and was it what you expected? Or
no. I have received support from weight loss surgery folks, and I have just been like in awe, because they're normies, and you know, you would think that they don't need any help losing weight, but I have had more inboxes when I do different things throughout this journey. When I've done different things, I've had more inboxes from normies, and it absolutely is crazy to me, because I'm just like, you're normal. What do you need help with? You know what I'm saying? So that's been really, really cool. And yes, they've been really supportive.
Awesome. Being further out now, do you have any regrets about having weight loss surgery versus before?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If I could get on that table, I would get on that table again and do it all over again. This has been an absolute plus for me. Nothing do I regret about this journey. Absolutely.
Yeah. Number 4 was, well, this is how often do you work out? So she was not just here and there, right?
Just a little bit, nothing crazy.
But
every day.
Yeah, she does have actually a great question, which is, what is your favorite exercise? Because that's actually a really wonderful question. I didn't think of asking you that myself.
My favorite exercise is being completely goofy on the step and my motivation is knowing that I have to bring something to the platform. So whether that be Instagram, Facebook, YT, my motivation is like, man, what can I do today that's going to be like really stupid, but might actually work for somebody? I love step aerobics. That is by far, because I can be totally creative with it. So.
Okay, yeah. And her last question was, when do you feel that your mind actually caught up with the reality that your body has changed? That's a great question, because I think it's different for everyone, but for you, when did you finally feel balanced?
I think I finally felt balanced 2 years out. And that's when like all the dust settled and my emotions were in check, and I understood that this is where I was, I've been really kind of maintaining between 10 and 15 pounds, a weight for me that works. This is my low end weight, but I've pretty much been in like the 140 area. So I've been here, I want to say since 2013, I've been in like the 140s, low 140s. This is new territory, being in the 130s, but 2 years out, I was just like, wow, this is me. This is life. So
you really sound like you just found yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Boring, but it really is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a question, just one question on YouTube. That was, her username is Color of Avon.
Yes.
Hey, she was like, what led you? Actually, it's a really great question too. She said, what led you to your highest weight? What was your bottom last straw that you've made the decision, which you kind of covered that with Shannon's question. But what weight loss programs did you try before that? Now, I know you went over a couple with the pills, Weight Watchers, but so basically she wants to know what led you to your highest weight, and then what other programs, aside from the ones that you mentioned really quickly, did you try that just see that you seem to feel like they failed?
First of all, she is like one of the best supporters, I will have to say. Every time I make a video, she's always chiming in. So I wanted to say thank you so very much, just for being you and just for being so supportive. So for me, again, as far as getting to my highest weight, I was just in a depressive state. I didn't like me. I didn't like what I looked like. I didn't like anything. And I ate my emotions. I didn't deal with a lot of stuff that I was going through and stuff that I had been through in the past. So just being really depressed and just eating, just eating my emotions pretty much. As far as the medicines and the things that I've done, again, Weight Watchers, phentermine, Atkins, you name it, I did it.
I think we all have that story.
Yeah, everybody I think has that story of trying everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we pretty much covered, a lot. I want to just say before we kind of wrap this first show up that you will be seeing more of her. We are going to be launching our fitness coach. We're going to call her the official BBTV coach. She'll be bringing you a lot of different variety, of what she thinks is important that can help you succeed, maintain, even conquer some regain. One thing I did want to ask you before I wrap it up, though, as well, is did you ever reach a point where, and I'm only saying this because it seems to be a big thing that people ponder at about 2 to 3 years, is plastics. Did you ever feel like, maybe I might, or did you think that fitness would just basically at this point, remedy the areas that you think were challenging?
Yeah, I thought that fitness was going to work it out, but it ain't. I like a lot of people have that apron, and so I normally wear a lot of I do undergarments since I've been at a lower weight. I haven't done undergarments as much, but yes, I have thought a lot about plastics here lately, just because everybody's getting plastics, and I'm just like not jealous, but I'm just very envious of the whole process. But I know that for me right now is not the time to do it. I do want to try to maintain this lower weight. I spoke with my surgeon actually about it last month when I saw him, and he was like, I really just want you to try to maintain whatever weight you're going to be at, maintain it for a year. Once you've done that, let's talk about plastics. So that's what I'm going to do, and we'll see. Maybe 2017, I'll be looking at plastics.
Yay! Yeah, me too. That's if I can ever figure out what's going on with my revision, that would be great.
Yes.
Also, so I just want to kind of let you guys know, Shannon had a couple other questions about protein snacks and things that you carry on the go, things that help you get through the day. But what I want to let you guys know is that she will be bringing her ideas, any protein snacks, shake powders, anything she feels that has helped her and maybe, that she's found along the way. You can always request through this video maybe something you might want to hear from her, maybe on her personal channel. Again, we will be promoting the Q&A apps in our show as well as the showcase, which I actually, if you clicked on the showcase icon, you would actually see TheCuryJones' Instagram, which I will also put those links below anywhere you can find her. We will make sure you can stalk her if you want. But yes, we will have these instructional videos for you, some snacks like we said, some tips, just on helping you keep positive, and helping you try to overcome some of the challenges that you think set you back. And also just, a way for you to stay connected to the community. I know a lot of us step back and maybe leave and then, just feel bad that we didn't stay, or find ourselves that, empty or missing something when we, leave the community for a little while thinking that we need a break. But, just always feel like we're a little empty inside, like, what am I going to do since I'm not doing what I know is good for me? So so just look for that. The show will also be rotating. You'll see different hosts. We'll bring you different guests. Like I said, Takesha's going to come in when she has some time, and maybe we'll have a fitness show on with some of her favorites that have encouraged her. Yeah, and we'll talk about that. Channels maybe that she's found, in terms of recovery for injuries and things like that. So we have a lot in store for you guys. We are so sorry we kept you for an hour and a half, but I did work late, and I do apologize one more time. But I hope you enjoyed our first show. We're going to be coming to you every Wednesday night. I
will have to say I so enjoyed this. This was awesome, and I don't know, you rock just a little bit.
So we will be promoting hydration. We're going to try to keep you guys as geared and as energetic and as motivated and inspired as we can. So just thank you guys so much for tuning in and encouraging us and supporting our show. You will be seeing more of us, so thank you so much, and we'll see you later. We'll see you next Wednesday. Take care, you guys. Bye.
Bye.